We are now looking at the best version of Andrew Jacked ever to step foot on that bodybuilding stage here at the 2024 Texas Pro. Quite excited indeed. Oh yeah, he won the Texas Pro last year too, and he was pretty good then. Was he better last year than he is now? That is a question that a lot of you fellers are asking me right now. I can see in the comment section, right as I speak, right now, you guys are asking me to set this comparison up. He was no more conditioned this year, I don't think. But was he as conditioned and larger? Well, let's just set these two versions up and do a comparison, shall we? That's what I do here, right? Well, for the most part. He looks like he's flexing his pecs a little more last year. So it would look like he is a more narrow clavicle. But I think that the fact that he has opened up the chest a little bit more, makes him look wider, makes him look more devastating on the bodybuilding stage. But having said that, I definitely see the weight. Some guys say they put on this amount of weight and then you see them on the stage and they're not nearly as conditioned and they actually look smaller. I can see the pounds that Andrew Jacked packed on. Perhaps most in the lower half, the wheel department. But I'm not going to be biased for one version or the other. I will tell it like it is. Go through the shots. And yes, I think he is slightly more separated last year, if you can imagine that. Could he be more depleted? Well, hold on a second. I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is a rookie mistake. He is tilted. He's tilting, showing those ab muscles more last year. So that is probably why his abs are showing a little bit more. He is opening up like a big He-Man monster man this year. This is my Arnold impression. But yes, it's hard to tell because he's not flexing his arms the same way, but I would bet the farm. Well, no, we wouldn't do that. But I would wager to say that his arms are several inches bigger now. So at the end of the day, he is criticized for his arm size, perhaps, more than anything in this shot. Definitely not the abs, so he's still going to beat everybody in that aspect. So I think with the better set of arms and larger quads, I would guess we'll have a better guesstimation by the end of this one, more comparisons. But I think he is denser, harder, grainier, and you get that look with the thicker type muscle. So maybe more separation in last year's, but I wouldn't say he's any more conditioned. I like this year's. I like today. I like now. Go to the next shot here. Front lat spread. Okay. Now his lats are quite bulbous. They're quite Dorian-esque last year. The camera's lower. I know. I'm sounding like I'm making excuses, but it is slightly lower, and that definitely favors a shot like this. But having said that, he looked awesome last year. Definitely looked awesome. You can see that by his neck, you can kind of see his trap. Shouldn't be able to see the trap if you're hitting the front lat spread, or, like I said, maybe the camera's a little higher, perhaps. Yes. So perhaps the better version in the front lat spread might be last year's leaner version, but I don't know. If you've seen these two big creatures, obviously that can't happen, but if you could see these two versions of this man side by side, I think you would see a harder, denser muscle, in particular in the lower half. But having said that, kudos to last year. Turn to the side chest development. Okay. All right. Okay. I prefer last year on the basis of the way he's hitting the pose. He's striking it different. He's bending at the knees, and he's already 6 foot plus. He's already going to be taller than everybody. So I think it actually did him a favor to bend down at the knees like he did last year. Makes his pecs look a little thicker too, I think. So yeah, maybe not quite as dominant as this year's, but I still say the improvement. Here's the side tricep, and you can't do this one, guys. You can't do this to me. He's hitting the Mannion pose. He's finally hitting in the Mannion position. This is the position that we want. But yeah, but last year, you can't judge this one. Bring on just for this shot. This is the Olympia version of Andrew Jacked, and there can be no question that he's better now than at the Olympia. But we knew that he was better at the Texas last year than he was at the Olympia, so we wanted to get to the bottom of this. But having said that, an obvious improvement, polish, condition, even the way he's striking it probably. But considering this is not the match you guys came to see, go to the important part, the back. And here is why I am preaching the choir, blowing my bugles up on top of the mountain about Andrew Jacked right now. Because he is showing improvement in the spot where he needed it the most, the back. And his glutes last year were just starting to show. They were. I think this year, about on par with last year's. Maybe slightly not as separated in the glutes. But I think that is nor here nor there, because take a look at the hamstrings. Take a close, hard look at the hamstrings and the quads, even the quads from behind. He is more conditioned, guys. He has a harder, denser type muscle, so maybe the separation might have been showing up more last year, but make no mistake about it. He has put on so much dense, thick muscle that he does, I believe, he shows his conditioning more. I mean, come on, there can be no argument. Look at the back. It is a lot thicker. He was having a little bit of trouble opening up that lat spread last year. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mooney McMahon. But yes, I am excited about this guy. Here's the rear double. It just looks like a better pose altogether. I'll give it to last year. He had some striated glutes, but who cares about striated glutes? Wow! That was a funny Lee Priest accent. Wasn't it? Didn't sound like Lee Priest at all. Again, I point to the hamstrings, the quads, the density. His back, I think he's hitting the pose better last year than he was in the rear lat spread, but still, he's not as thick. He's not as dense. So fireworks are to commence. Now go to the abs and thigh. And you can kind of let a little bit of air out, but you gotta put the plug back in, because you know what? He is better equipped for a bodybuilding competition. His abs were slightly more etched last year. Could have been too depleted. You lose that pop, that wow. So you maintain the separation perhaps, but you don't get that vascularity level that he has this year. His lats, bigger, V-taper looks better, wheels mean much more business. So this cat here, Marks Max Muscle, myself, I'm quite excited about this. Quite excited indeed. And the most muscular a shot that he did struggle in, I think, compared to other guys. It's like a hands clasped. He's no good at that crab position. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's good at everything, really, but I mean, least good at that crab position. So this hands clasped may be his best bet. And dare I say, the way he is striking it shows off that Victorian waistline a little bit more. And the quads themselves look much better. And even the calves have improved, I think. So Andrew Jacked, wow. Bravo. Bravo. That is how to not maintain, that's how to improve. That's how to become an IFBB pro. You get continuously better, not like a lump on a log. And Andrew Jacked is no lump on a log. He's top 5. He's top 4. Could be top 3 at this year's Olympia. And don't take that as a joke. I'm serious. Real serious. Have a great one, guys.